Right now, we're going to get to that bombshell revelation from Bob Woodward. Tapes of President Trump admitting to deliberately downplaying the coronavirus despite knowing how deadly a threat it posed to our country. The tapes rocked the White House, drew immediate fire from Joe Biden, and Trump scrambled to control the damage last night. Cecilia Vega tracking it all from the White House. Good morning, Cecilia.
George, good morning to you. You said it. There are tapes. And so the president is not denying misleading the American public. He says flat out this was his strategy by playing down the virus's threat. He says he was trying to keep people from panicking. Overnight, President Trump trying to justify misleading the American public on just how deadly the coronavirus is.
I can't be jumping up and down and scaring people. I want people not to panic. And that's exactly what I did.
But that is not what he told Bob Woodward in conversations recorded for the veteran journalist's new book, Rage, heard in audio excerpts obtained by CNN. Just days after National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien ominously warned the president that the virus, quote, will be the biggest national security threat you face in your presidency, the president sounded the alarm in a February 7th phone call with Woodward.
It goes through air, Bob. That's always tougher than the touch. You know, the touch, you don't have to touch things, right? But the air, you just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. This is more deadly. This is 5 per. This is 5% versus 1% and less than 1%. So this is deadly stuff.
Deadly stuff in that call, but not long after that, the president was telling Americans the virus was no worse than the flu.
You may ask about the coronavirus, which is, very well under control in our country.
This is a flu. This is like a flu. Within a couple of days, it's going to be down to close to zero. That's a pretty good job we've done.
From the White House to Twitter, the president saying, so last year, 37,000 Americans died from the common flu. Nothing is shut down. Life and the economy go on. Think about that. 10 days later, President Trump striking a very different tone, admitting in another call with Woodward that he wasn't telling the public how bad the virus really was.
Just today and yesterday, some startling facts came out. It's not just older
exactly.
young people, to plenty of young people.
It's clear just from what's on the public record that you went through a pivot on this to, oh my God, the gravity is almost inexplicable and unexplainable.
Well, I think, Bob, really, to be honest with you,
sure, I want you to.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes,
because I don't want to create a panic.
But the very next week at the White House,
We cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself.
and days after that,
It will go away, and we're going to have a great victory. I want to keep the country calm. I don't want panic in the country.
the reality today, more than 190,000 Americans dead. Joe Biden on the campaign trail in Michigan calling it a betrayal.
He knew how deadly it was. It was much more deadly than the flu. He knew and purposely played it down. Worse, he lied to the American people. He knowingly and willingly lied about the threat it posed to the country for months. It's beyond despicable. It's a dereliction of duty. It's a disgrace.
Now, the book isn't even officially out until next week, though some journalists have obtained copies. President Trump says he's not read it. That, of course, is not stopping him from bashing the book already. He called it boring, a political hit job by, quote, rapidly fading Bob Woodward. George, perhaps the most curious thing about all of this, the president did 18 on-the-record interviews with Woodward over 8 months, some of them late-night calls with no aides around.
And 17 of them on tape. Meantime, this is not the only revelation in the book. Cecilia also revealed new tensions between the president and military leaders.
Big tension. George Woodward quotes the president as using some extremely disparaging words about his top generals. The same word he used, you'll remember in that Access Hollywood tape, he allegedly told his trade advisor the generals care more about alliances than they do about trade deals. And on the flip side, Woodward says a source told him that former Defense Secretary Jim Mattis was so concerned about the country's fate under President Trump that Mattis said there may come a time when they have to take collective action. George.
Still unfolding right now. And as this was unfolding yesterday, thank you, Cecilia.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here. to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.